Hey everyone. If you're new here, my name is Rahul. Quick note before we start, I'm not a financial professional. I'm just sharing what has worked for me and what I've learned so far. This video is a beginner starter kit. If you have never budgeted or you feel like money disappears every month, this will give you a simple way to get control. We start with step 1. Identify your income. So step 1 is income. You need one number, your monthly income after tax, not an estimate, not a guess. Know it down to the dollar and cents. If your income changes month to month, just take an average of the last 3 months and use that. This is your starting point. Everything else depends on this. Now we do step 2. Identify your numbers. This is the step 2. This is where most people avoid looking because it feels uncomfortable. List what you spend money on. Start with your fixed essentials. So fixed would include rent, utilities, phone bills. And phone bills, I mean the calling invoice, not the payment you're paying for your phone. That's a big no-no for me. Then we have insurance, then transit, groceries, gas, etc. So these are fixed costs. Then list your flexible spendings, which varies every month. For example, dining out, coffee, shopping, rooming, subscriptions, entertainment, etc. So the easiest way is to pull your last 30 days of transactions from your bank and card, and you don't need to judge it. You just need to see it in front of you. So now we move on to step 3. Sort spending into buckets. So we are going to change their headings and you will see where we are going now. So we will be changing into 4 buckets: needs, wants, investments, and emergency funds. Needs are the things you must pay to function, like rent, utilities, phone bills, insurance, transit, etc. Wants are the things that make life enjoyable, which is coffee, dining out, shopping, grooming, etc. Okay, I must say this is important. Wants are not bad. Wants just need a limit. And then we have investments and emergency funds. So investments are things that grow your future, that the future you will thank you. And what does investments include? ETFs, stocks, precious metals, retirement fund, or the thing that creates the maximum ROI is to starting a business. Now, emergency fund is your safety net. It protects you when life hits. So basically, in emergency fund, you need 6 times of your needs monthly. So in the next step, I will show you how to split them, and your emergency fund should be 6 times of your needs per month. And this usually comes into place when, for example, your car breaks down and you need money urgently. So you take out from the emergency fund, and then in the coming few months, you put it back. So this is what we are going to maintain. And for now, 6 months is the lowest. It usually should be, ideally, if I say, it should go up to 12 months. And this emergency fund will also help you if, for example, you get laid off from a company and you don't have a job, you're unemployed. So at least this would cover your 6 months of expenses, and you can cut down on these things, but this we cannot help because this is a fixed cost. An emergency fund is going to help your needs. It covers your needs. It helps you when you need it the most. But for sure, emergency fund should be filled back once you start earning. Now that you have sorted everything, you'll see your real pattern. Next, we move on to step 4. Step 4 is setting a target split. A simple rule that works for most beginners is 50, 20, 20, and 10. What does that mean? That means if you're earning $1,000 after tax, so let's say you're earning $1,000 after tax, your 50% should go into your needs, 20% should go into your wants, 20% should go into your investments, and 10% into your emergency. And that means $500, $200, $200, and $100. Now, two important notes. If you're starting from zero savings, you can temporarily prioritize the emergency fund more heavily. Investing can come after you have stability. Second, it's fine if you invest more than 20% later. But the one bucket that I try to keep tight is wants, because that is the most leakage point. And now we move on to step 5. Adjust your numbers to match the split. Step 5 is adjusting. Compare your real spending from step 2 to your target split. If needs are above 50%, you have a housing or fixed cost problem. You may need time, planning, or a change of structure. It's normal. If wants are above 20%, this is where progress is easiest. This is where small changes lead to big results. This step is where your money plan becomes real. You don't need perfection, you need direction. Now, moving on to step 6. Prioritization based on your stage. Step 6 is prioritizing. This is the part people skip and it creates stress. Your priorities change depending on where you are right now. So if you're just starting, your order is simple. Needs first, emergency fund second, third one would be investments. You can run a temporary split like so if you're just starting out, the needs would be 50%, let's say. It remains the same. Emergency fund would be 40% and wants would be 10%. And investments could be zero in the start because you're at this stage when you're trying to build up your emergency fund, which is even more important than investments. So this split would be a temporary one, and obviously you need to live your life. So that's why you need to have 10% just spending on whatever you feel like. But just make sure it's not going more than 10% because this is something which we can control. Needs we cannot control. It's a fixed cost. An emergency fund is usually our safety net. So we want to make sure we fill this emergency fund as soon as possible. Then once you have an emergency fund baseline, you shift towards investing. So my personal split looks totally different today because my emergency fund is already built. So it's usually 40% goes into needs, 40% goes into investments, and 20% goes into wants. It's because my emergency fund is already built. And for example, if I still need some money from emergency fund, I would take that out. But in the coming few months, in 1 to 2 months, I prioritize that heavily to put it back. So basically, I can put more towards investing and still enjoy life. So your split should match your stage, not someone else's stage. Now we move on to step 7. So step 7 is to maintain the system. This is where the results come from. My simple habit is this. Every night I take 2 minutes and log what I spent that day. I use an app for that called day-to-day expenses. Then at the end of the month, I review the categories. You can do this too in a notes app, a spreadsheet, or any other trackers, to be honest. The tool doesn't matter. The habit matters. So at the end of each month, ask these 3 questions. Did I stay within my targets? Where did I overspend? And what do I change next month? That's it. So those are the 7 steps. Identify your income, identify your numbers. Step 3 is sort spending into buckets. Step 4 is set a target split, which is 50, 20, 20, 10. Step 5 is adjust your numbers to match your split. Step 6, prioritization based on your stage. Step 7, maintain the system. If you've never budgeted before, do steps 1 and 2 today. That alone will change how you see your money. If you have your own money rules or a system that works for you, share it in the comments below. I read them and it helps me to learn too. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe to my channel and share with your friends and family. Have a good one.